You're not stuck because you don't know what to do. You're stuck because of what it feels like to do what you already know. You've had the idea, you've seen the next level, you've even said it out loud, I know I'm capable of more. But then something happens. You hesitate, you second guess, you wait. And it's not because you're lazy, it's not because you don't care, it's because growth feels uncomfortable. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. This episode is one of the most important I've ever recorded and probably will ever record. It's not because it's tactical, but because it's truthful. Because I know something about you. If you're listening to this, you've already done things most people never will. You've built something. You've created momentum. People trust you. You're good at what you do. And yet, there's a quiet voice in the back of your mind that says, there's more impact, more income, more freedom, more life. And at the same time, there's another voice, quieter, but heavier. What if I mess this up? What if this doesn't work? What if I'm not ready yet? That tension right there, that's the real game. Most people think they need a better strategy, another marketing plan, another funnel, another system, but that's not what is holding you back. What's holding you back is how you interpret uncertainty. Because every time you get close to growth, you feel it, the doubt, the pressure, the unknown, and you've been trained to think that means stop. But what if that's exactly when you're supposed to move? Let me say this clearly so it lands. That feeling, that tightness in your chest, that voice in your head that says, I don't know if I could do this. That's not a warning, that's an invitation. There's a pattern to all of this. A loop. And once you see it, you realize you were never stuck. You were just stopping too early. Here's how it works. You choose who you're becoming. That identity expands what's possible. That possibility creates clarity. And then you hit fear, you hit uncertainty, you hit discomfort. And this is where most people quit. But the ones who build something real, the ones who break through, they don't interpret that moment as failure. They trust themselves anyway. They move anyway. They figure it out anyway. And over time, everything becomes either progress or wisdom. That's the loop. That's the game. And if you don't understand this, you will keep starting and stopping for the rest of your life. So I want to give you something you can actually hold on to, a way to move through this on purpose. This is a framework I've been living. This is the framework I've seen change lives. And it's called the Courage Framework. We've mapped it out, C-O-U-R-A-G-E. And the C stands for choose who you're becoming. Everything starts here, not with strategy, not with tactics, identity. Because whether you realize it or not, you've been playing a role. I'm just a DJ, I'm just the planner, I'm just trying to make this work. And that identity is capping everything. At some point, you have to decide, I'm not that anymore. I'm building a premium brand. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a leader. I create experiences people never forget. That shift changes everything because you stop asking, can I do this? And you start asking, what would someone at my level do? That question will change your life. Open what's possible. When your identity expands, your world expands. Suddenly, you see things you couldn't before. Better clients, higher pricing, better systems, a different way to run your business. And here's the truth most people miss. You don't find clarity first, you become someone who can see it. You understand the terrain. Now here's where everything breaks down for most people, because right after clarity comes discomfort, fear, uncertainty, doubt. And people think this must not be right. But let me tell you something, that is the path. You don't grow without friction. You don't evolve without pressure. If it feels uncomfortable, good. That means you're not playing small anymore. Rely on yourself. This is where you decide who you really are, because you don't have all the answers and you won't, but you have something more important, the ability to figure it out. There were moments in my life where I said yes to things I had no idea how to execute. And yeah, it was scary, including the pandemic, by the way. Our entire business shut down in the pandemic and we had to pivot. We were like, what are we gonna do? And after a lot of thinking and figure out what are we gonna do, we decided let's help schools in some capacity. And we reached out to New York City Department of Education, and through grace, we got an interview at the top of technology of all of New York City schools. And they said, we need help producing graduations. And I remember going onto that call. We've never done virtual graduations. And he asked on this call, I'll never forget, his name is Christopher. Hey, Dan, if we were to give your company 20 to 30 virtual graduations, is that something you guys can handle? Bam! The evolved thinking version of me said absolutely, because in the back of my mind, I knew I was going to figure it out. Maybe a younger, less experienced version of me would have been like, I've never done that before, and therefore I don't think we're the right fit. I don't know how to do that. I have news for you. There was never the need for a virtual graduation, ever. The first year we did 54 graduations, figured it out. Next year we did 104 graduations and events. Right, that was like 2020 into 2021. And fast forward, we're still doing work with schools along with the production side. So what I'm showing you, I have lived. So every single time I've leaned into that, I built something more valuable than skill. I built trust in myself. And once you have that, you stop needing permission. A, act anyway. This is the line right here. Where most people wait, you move. Not because you feel ready, but because you've decided you're going. Waiting is expensive. Waiting costs you years, opportunities, momentum. You don't need perfect, you need movement. Because action creates clarity, not the other way around. If we said no to virtual graduations back in 2020, or we hesitated, or we said, let me think about it, the opportunity would have passed us by. G, get resourceful. You're not stuck because you don't know how, you're stuck because you're not asking, who could help me? What already exists? What's the fastest path forward? Everything you want, someone has already figured out. Your job is to find them. E, expand through iteration. And finally, this is where you stop being so hard on yourself. You're not behind, you're just early. Your first version isn't supposed to be perfect. When I started recording these sort of podcasts, these episodes, these videos, I fumbled, I stumbled, I didn't know what I was doing. I was intimidated. Could it have been hard on myself and said, I don't want to do this anymore? I'm not born for this, or I'm not perfect from the beginning. No, iterations and learning and iterations and being uncomfortable. The first time I was talking to a camera like this, it was so unnatural. This is iterations forward. And so your first version is not supposed to be perfect. Neither is the 10th version or the 20th. You're just going to keep improving. So your job is to move, adjust, refine, repeat, because there is no failure. Only progress or wisdom. Let me bring this home for you. Stages, the system that I have around vision, brand, traffic, conversions, experience, and simplification, it's the system. It's the roadmap. It tells you what to do. But courage, what I just went over, is what determines if you actually do it. Without courage, you'll sit on ideas for years. With it, you build something real. So if you've been feeling stuck, let me tell you what's actually happening. You're not stuck. You're standing at the edge of your next level. And everything you're feeling right now is the moment before you step into it. The version of you that has what you want, they didn't wait. They moved while it was uncomfortable. They trusted before it made sense. They acted before they felt ready. And now it's your turn. If this hit for you, if you felt this is the work. This is what we build inside Stages. Not just better businesses, better operators. I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you in the next episode.